going on, YouTube? We back in the Low Key Cave, Keyshawn Niles YouTube page, aka Mr. Low Key, and we back with another review. Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 4 finale. Let's go ahead and get into the big reveal before we get into everything else, and I think the whole introduction to Breeze. Finally, we have Breeze. The theories about Unique and everybody else thinking that Breeze has already been in the show can stop finally. We have finally been introduced to Breeze, played by Shameik Moore. If you not familiar with Shameik Moore, he played Raekwon in the Wu-Tang show. He's the voice for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. My introduction to Shameik Moore was in a movie called Dope. So either way, I think he's a very phenomenal actor, and he's going to be able to pull off this role. My whole thing is that they're supposed to be going into season 5 as the last season. And I'm like, it feels like it's so much there that y'all can at least probably ease on into season 6, if not anything, because I already know they are doing Power Book Origins or whatever. And we're supposed to be getting a Ghost and Tommy origin story or whatever. So I would be thinking this would transition right over into that. Or we'll be getting our introductions to Ghost and Tommy in their childhood or whatever, and then we'll get that reintroduction back to Kanan and Breeze. But man, yeah, this is what everybody been waiting on, Breeze. I'm gonna get into my whole thing with just the season finale overall, because this to me was kind of the best part. Because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I was very lackluster with this season finale. I feel like it didn't even feel like a season finale. It was a lot of build up, and I get it. We're them going into the season 5, being that this is the last season. My whole thing is, it feel like it was just so much going on where they were just like, it was basically almost like, we want y'all to make sure y'all come back for season 5. Make sure y'all stick around and watch it. So we're going to leave a lot of cliffhangers, just a whole bunch of cliffhangers, in which we were going to come back. Like, we coming back to watch it either way. I have issues, though. I got issues with this season finale. I got issues with this. One of the first things is, I'm going to be honest with y'all, I feel like somebody should have went. Like, we had our predictions with Marvin. Marvin safe. Lou safe. Everybody. Unique. Everybody safe. Hell, Stefano got stabbed up, and he's still alive, so he's good. So I'm a little, like, this is my whole thing with just, you had shows like The Wire, and I'm not comparing this to The Wire, but it's the whole thing with even the original Power, where you had them knocking off main characters throughout the seasons, where we had some type of, where it just didn't feel safe. And I'm like, damn, building up to this, I'm thinking that we're going to at least get, if not one, maybe 2 people, if not hell, 1, and we didn't get that. And I'm just saying that we watched the original OG Power. We know nobody's around. Unless some of them in prison, which I don't feel like, you didn't never hear the OG jukebox of Kanan saying, yo, my daddy or my uncle in prison, you ain't never hear them talk about nobody like they were still alive. That's my point. So we know all of these people outside of Breeze. That nigga Kanan talked about Breeze more than he talked about his mama on the original Power. So I'm just saying, very big deal with the introduction of Breeze. Snap and Pop, still good. Kanan doesn't know that they did anything. So going into this, outside of the big reveal of Breeze finally, and this is the guy who put on Kanan, Tommy, and Ghost. And this is the guy that Ghost killed as far as Breeze. That got hit, brung him up outside of Kanan. If I'm not mistaken, it was Ghost and Tommy that killed Breeze, right? Not Ghost and Kanan. Y'all can let me know in the comments, though. Anyway, outside of that, we left off on episode 9 with Rock and Lou showing up to a Unique spot. So Rock been seeing Kanan, and she pretty much seen Kanan come out of Unique spot. So her whole thing was making sure Unique know that family's off limits. I can get to yours just like you can get to mine. And Unique do hit her with some bars, bro. Like, everybody was on Rock ass in this episode. They kind of was. Like, and the whole thing with Unique pretty much saying that, I was smashing, telling Lou, Lou didn't know. So him going into all of that, and that's why I keep telling y'all, Unique is still salty. He got feelings for Rock, bro. He's still like, damn, this is supposed to be my, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, Rock pretty much just let them know, do what you need to do. But I'm just letting you know that I will get to yours. You know this. So now we got Unique I feel like he's making a move to pretty much go full in on Rock, and not just Rock, but just full on Southside Jamaica, and even with Stefano. So the guy that Unique pretty much went to for that help to go at Stefano. Of course, it's Sal's got, Sal that passed away, the other Italian in New Jersey that Unique been going to. So they have this whole thing going on. And the big reveal, which I feel like I didn't know, I don't know if it's a big reveal, but the conversation between Stefano and Sal's guy from New Jersey pretty much was that Stefano, the reason Marv killed Sal, because of the guy from New Jersey, because he wanted Sal's spot. So that was kind of, to me, a big thing. I didn't know that was the whole reasoning behind him doing that. I might need to go back and check out him even asking Marvin to go do that. But yeah, outside that, Stefano gets stabbed up. Yeah, my Sal's old buddy, he like, yo, they looking at me. Sal's wife, a widow, she pretty much put pressure on him, saying that, yo, you let Stefano come in and do what he did to Sal. But Stefano is telling Sal's, he letting him know, like, bro, look, you the one hired me to do this. You wanted him out so you can have his position. And that's when Sal's guy pretty much stabbed up Stefano. My whole thing is that Stefano's still alive. So now it's this whole thing with them building up a bunch of war. It's going to be a lot of war going on. And being that Stefano almost tried, he know that old buddy tried to take him out as far as Sal's guy, that's going to be a big thing. Kanan, man, I feel like one of the big things we got to talk about definitely is Kanan and him finding out about Crystal, man. Once again, shout out to Raising Kanan. I get what y'all trying to do, man. Once again, I'm going to be honest, I'm disappointed with the season finale. I do appreciate the build-up. And I think I'm more disappointed finding out that y'all going into season 5 as the final. And I'm like, y'all did all this to just, like, we was going to be here just to build up this final season, which I understand with these cliffhangers, but damn. And I'm like, you just now introducing Breeze. So how we going to get all of this development with him teaching Kanan more, or Kanan being under his wing, and then how we going to get the whole thing with Ghost and him coming in? But I guess my whole thing is that they can just transition these characters over into Power Origins, which I'm thinking that's what they're going to do. But anyway, yeah, the whole thing with Kanan and him going through the emotions of losing Crystal, but more so of him blaming Rock. It's all Rock. It's all circling back to Rock. And once again, this is putting more light on the whole relationship between the original Power with the OG Kanan and Tariq. And really looking at why Kanan was so drawn to Tariq. Now we seeing his whole thing with him kind of having them similarities with his mama. The only thing I would say or have a gripe about is Ghost. Rock didn't lie to Kanan. She had let him know full on what there was going on, but it was the whole thing was like, nah, you ain't gonna do it though. Ghost was lying to Tariq. So that's the thing about that. So still though, I still got a grudge more with Tariq than Kanan, because my whole thing is like, he was making sure not only that you stayed away from that, he was making sure you had the best opportunities and everything. And it's like you still had this urge to transition, give or take. You your father's son, so you, I don't know. But my whole thing is the difference is Kanan was still seeing that life. Like Rock wasn't trying to hide it from him. His, not just Rock either, his uncles and all of that. Give or take Tommy, but Tommy wasn't just throwing that shit in Tariq's face. I don't know, man. Y'all can make an argument with me. But anyway, outside of even him going through that and him blaming Rock, he's going through even trying to still gather the emotions with losing his grandmother. And Lou, it was this whole thing with Lou having a conversation with Rock, especially with him finding out, and the way Unique kind of reveals to Rock and Lou that Kanan came over there for his assistance, kind of, especially when they deal with his girlfriend or whatever. So the whole thing with Lou in that conversation and him even revealing to Kanan that he killed D-Wiz, I was even thinking like, oh, he gonna put Lou in that box too now. He gonna maybe even turn on both of them. But it was a real good conversation, really good dialogue. Once again, I always appreciate the writing. I feel like this is, once again, it's the strongest when it comes to character development and writing as far as Power spinoffs. But yeah, it was a very, very good indulgent conversation between Lou and Kanan. And Kanan, my bad, I said Kanan. Marvin, they on Marvin ass too, just like Rock. Like the way Rock talking, Rock talking to Marvin like she used to treat him in that first season, and she talking to him like she did Lou when Lou was like he didn't want to do this no more and all that other shit. Like Rock don't play no games. Rock talking mad shit. Give or take, Marvin done put in some work behind trying to do his best of the best of his knowledge, making sure things is still running good as far as the directions from Rock. Give or take. Like she done gave out a lot of these directions. It's just the execution of Marvin ain't been that. So Rock just all the way done with it. Being that Unique still coming after her, she's dealing with that. On top of the fact that Kanan blaming her for Famous death. So now the whole thing with the dude, as far as the plug that she had moving the weight with the trucks or whatever, and then you got Marvin trying to go to Stefano and talk to him, and he like, no, he just done with everything. He done with all of them. She's pretty much putting that all on Marvin, and give or take, it is kind of on him. So what does Marvin do? And this is what I'm saying. That's why I was like, oh no, Marvin not gonna make, ain't no way. Marvin is still on his Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees spree, and he goes and finds Early and kill him. And another dude that I guess he was using as a trap to get into the room just to get to Early. So once again, Marvin's stacking up them bodies, and I'm wondering if this is going to be something that they touch on early in season 5, as far as all these bodies Marvin has collected, as far as especially this season, as far as season 4. But yeah, man, Jukebox, man, another really good conversation between her and Rock, and the whole thing with her saying like, yeah, you tried to be, you know what I'm saying, kind of that mother figure. The whole thing is that it was more so when I was with Kanan or pertaining to Kanan, and her even put her on as far as Rock trying to throw some shade at Marvin, and Jukebox like, shit, I'd rather be like him than you, because of the whole thing with Marvin transitioning into not only trying to be a better father for Jukebox, give or take him being a serial killer and drug dealer and all the shit he doing, but even him accepting Jukebox for everything, even outside of her sexuality. Once he even see her with the gun and shit, he like, I mean, it is what it is, but he giving her real, giving her real conversations about consequences, just giving her real conversation, because he knows what she's seen. And he ain't doing what Rock doing. That's one thing about Marvin. Say what you want to say about Marvin. Rock and her trying to make it seem like she's doing the best that she can, give or take all the moves that she's making as far as what she's done behind Kanan's back, the lies she's told Kanan, with Marvin just being straightforward with Juke. Even with whatever choices Jukebox trying to make, he's like, hey, I love you. You gonna have to deal, but I'm here. So that's another reason why I was like, Marvin is out of here. Like, you got a whole thing with Jukebox having a conversation with old girl that was from their group, and you know they still doing their thing, whatever. But it was her saying why she's staying as far as Jukebox, because the old girl was like, "Why don't you come to Spelman with me?" And Jukebox was like, a couple months ago, a year ago, or something like that, she probably would have had her bags packed and ready. But she like, I gotta stay for my daddy. Like, it's like we was getting all these sweet things about Marvin, even with him doing what he was doing for the little girl, as far as, you know, the dude that tried to snitch on him or whatever, and still looking out for her. And I'm like, yo, Marvin is out here. Marvin is gone. But no. So I don't know, this is the thing, though. I'm expecting crazy deaths in the season, being it's going to be last season. I'm expecting it. I wouldn't be surprised if Marvin took an early death in like the first 2 episodes. The thing about it is, it's not going to be that much of a, it's going to be an impact, but it's not going to come off as, like, it's just not going to come off like that if it would have happened before announcing that this is going to be a last season. Like, if it would have happened this season, once again, it would have came off. Even though I was looking like it, I was not looking forward to it, but I kind of called it, and it didn't happen, though, so I was wrong. But still, it's just too much safe for me. A lot of these, like, everybody was way a little too much safe outside of Famous. But outside of that, like I said, Unique still trying to make his moves. It is more so of him going out trying to get permission from Sal's old guy, but Sal's old guy don't try to make his move on Stefano, so he's pretty much giving the green light to Unique to do whatever. Like, do whatever you're going to do. But funny how this going to play out, being that Stefano is still alive, so I wonder how they going to make that transition. Then, once again, we have the whole build-up between Rock and Kanan. And what it's going to do as far as how he feeling, being that he feel like everything is to blame as far as Crystal, Famous. He got it right as far as pertaining to D-Wiz, but the build-up with that, and we go into this last scene as far as him pretty much going to kill Rock. Now, I don't know how I feel about it, being that I feel like it's always been a build up, and I've been calling this. I've been saying that Kanan's going to be the one to kill his mama. But I see how it's like, oh shit, we going through that same routine, being that we had the whole thing with Tariq shooting goals, even with Tommy's show where we had like this whole thing with the kids coming after their parents and whatever. So it seems like something that they have kind of just kept going in a formula. So I can see how people could have a problem with that, but I just feel like being that this is a prequel show or whatever, I've seen this build up kind of coming. Now, does he go all the way through with it? We don't know. This ended on some Walking Dead, Negan coming out there hitting niggas with the bat, and you don't know if they dead or not, or you don't know who he shot or whatever. So you do hear the shot go off, but does he kill Rock? That's the thing, and I do not like that. Once again, this would have hit a lot heavier if he actually would have done it, and you still going into a last season. But being that we don't know if he done it or not, it doesn't hit as heavy, and that's why I said I don't like how they did this season finale. Like, you had this whole bullshit ass shootout with Marvin at a gas station where it's only him, and you got a gang of people in the car. My whole thing is Marvin was able to pull that out way better when he went after Unique in, what was it, the first season? Even though he didn't get to him, it was like y'all wasn't even trying. Y'all niggas could have got out the car. Marvin was one person. He didn't have nobody with him. So why didn't we go all the way through with that? And once again, I'm not saying I wanted to see somebody die, but it was like I wanted to feel that impact, being that this was supposed to be a season finale. Now, how is this all going to play out? Once again, I know I don't care what, I'm not mad at Kanan. If anybody I feel like had more reason to do whatever he's doing, even though she's had a lot of points when she's made as far as coming in and saving him, it's the fact that you put him in that position though. Like, you was lying. You was making certain moves where you could have just been honest with him, and he might have been making different choices. He might have been able to make. I just feel like Tariq, it's a way major difference. Once again, I get it. Ghost was lying to him too, but it's the whole fact of him trying to make sure that Tariq had a way better life than him. Even with him having a conversation with Tosh on early in like season 1, when he was like, "I'm trying to get out of the life." Like, if you would imagine, once again, I don't know if it would have transitioned that smooth, but imagine him saying Ghost getting out of the life in that first season, and him way before Tariq even get on to anything that's going on, even though I don't think it would have played out like that, because you have to reap your, your sins. But all that being said, I guess that's my whole gripe with, if anybody has an issue with Kanan doing what he was doing to Rock. Once again, I don't think it's cool, but his argument, she killed, D Wiz was one of his best friends too. She had him killed. Give or take, it was on a move that Kanan did, but once again, look at where he came from in his environment, but not only that, his family and what they're doing. Okay, famous. He has so much around him that points at Rock. Look at Juke. Even Juke was like, God damn. Now, it is a moment where we got the cop Garcia coming up and questioning both of them. More so Jukebox, and him mentioning seeing a black lady leave the place where Crystal was killed. Now, they already been having their suspicions about Rock, so he's initially talking about Pop, though. With all that being said, even if they would have got into detail about what this woman looked like, blase, 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 I mean, damn, outside of the weird part where she don't look like Rock, no, but it's like, how do you, what you gonna say? But so they definitely set it up, I feel like, in a believable way, and make you feel like, in my opinion, why Kanan would feel the way he does. It's been a whole buildup of him going into this position. Once again, the whole fact that her killing his pops in front of him. Like, come on, man. Come on. He didn't want that. He didn't want that. He was building a relationship with him. Hell, if anything, you had Howard being a way more honest give or take. Howard was on some Howard ain't no good guy, not by a long shot. Once again, if you think about it, Kane, if you have a real conversation with your mama, the fact that she was underage when her and Howard were introduced, so I'm just saying, man, I know it's a lot. So it's an argument with this whole thing, but I feel like I'm not, it sounds like I'm trying to justify Kanan having a reason to want to shoot his mom. No, my whole thing is him having that feeling, though, being of the lifestyle he's a part of, and what he's seen and what he's been through leading up into this. That's my whole thing of him feeling like those emotions and having a reason to want to do what he was wanting to do to Rock. Now, did he do it? We don't know. Once again, somebody else could have came in. Who was Jukebox calling when he ran out of there? I mean, I like that scene too. That was my first time where I felt like the actor playing the young Kanan, when that OG kind of Kanan came out of him, when Juke was like, "What you doing?" and he went into a full-on rage, and he had the gun and he damn near pointed it at Juke. So yeah, we're going to have to see, man. Once again, we got to wait till the last season for our season 5. I hope they don't wait as long as I feel like they did with this one, because I feel like the transition from season 3 to season 4 was a lot longer than they have been with the previous seasons. But once again, no big deaths. I don't even feel like outside of the whole thing with Kanan possibly shooting Rock, nothing big happened. And once again, we don't even know if that actually happened. Stefano, we don't know if he's going to make it, which I think he probably is, and he's probably going to make it seem like he doesn't, or he in worse a condition than he actually is, to kind of stay on the low, to get back at Sal's guy. So yeah, man, y'all, we're gonna have to see, man. I hope I didn't forget nothing. Lou, once again, I did really like that conversation. And once again, even Lou making it very clear that he's transitioning to being comfortable with who he is. We kind of talked about it on the previous review or the episode, but him more so getting into that with Kanan and him being very clear and honest with Kanan. So I think that was a very important scene too. But Unique, man, Unique. How is Unique gonna feel? Because Lou kidnapped Unique's child and baby mama. Once again, I just feel like Unique wasn't as his urgency wasn't as high for me as I feel like it should have been. Like, as soon as Rock and Luke came in there, I feel like he should have went out and made sure he made some different arrangements for his girl and his son. So I feel like he kind of dropped the ball on it, unless he got some other type of plan under play. Because once again, outside of him pretty much burning down all Rock Chinese stores and trying to kill her brother as far as Marvin or whatever, it seemed like something else he has up his sleeve. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm not sure. But I do definitely feel like it should have been a sense of urgency with him and the mother of his kid and his own child, as far as losing them able to get to him the way he was. But outside of that, y'all let me know how y'all feeling about the season finale of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan Season 4. Do y'all feel like it was too many cliffhangers, too much build-up? Do y'all feel like something should have happened where we could have... I'm still looking forward to it, of course. Like I said, the whole thing with Breeze coming in, I'm really liking this. Finally, we got Breeze. My whole thing is how they gonna stuff all of that into this final season with him being like I said, a mentor to Kanan and even Ghost and Tommy. And once again, I'm thinking more than likely gonna transition the characters of Kanan and Breeze into origins, as far as the other power that they supposed to be doing for Ghost and Tommy. But yeah, y'all let me know how y'all feeling about this, man. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell, let you know when I upload new videos. Other than that, we out.